I will get us going since it is 1 o'clock and we have a lot to get through. Hello and welcome to YVSC's 2024 Sustainability Awards ceremony. I'm Michelle Stewart, Executive Director of Yampa Valley Sustainability Council, and it is such a pleasure to be able to convene this event today and the celebration of all of you. This year is YVSC's 15th year anniversary. I'm excited to share. And so we were established in 2009 as a nonprofit, and we are guided by the mission to serve as a leader, resource, and catalyst for building a sustainable and resilient Yampa Valley. This annual Sustainability Awards ceremony is perhaps our most inspiring and significant event we have the honor of hosting during the year, because it is when we get to shine the light on those individuals, businesses, organizations, and initiatives that so significantly advance sustainability and climate action in our region. As you'll soon hear, each award recipient today has invested their time and expertise to build and advance the environmental and social well-being, and they've made the choice to act in a way that creates something better than the status quo. So today is an important opportunity to recognize and thank our awardees, our community leaders, for choosing to invest their lives, their efforts, their resources, and their commitments to building a better, healthier, and more resilient Yampa Valley that we all continue to cherish. It is an honor for all of us to be able to build on your legacies and have this opportunity today to come together in person to say thank you personally for everything. Sorry for the wonky sound. If you're up here, hold it, I guess. So today's Sustainability Award ceremony also celebrates the culture of collaboration that we have here in the Yampa Valley. Common to all award recipients today is their willingness and readiness to sit with others, to help, to collaborate, and to brainstorm opportunities, to navigate challenges, and build resolution that serve our community. These inherent qualities of our awardees create the rich foundation upon which all of us build our purpose, that our histories, our connections, and shared commitment to people and place drive ahead action at the times of opportunity and leave legacies that so many of us continue to be proud of. May this celebration today and the connections we make and bolster today when you get to hear about all of this amazing work and success that your leaders have done bring us together and build a more sustainable and resilient Yampa Valley moving forward. So before we move on to our individual awards, I'd like to be the first to say thank you, all of you, for your contributions to this area that we live in and continue to cherish. We honor you. I'd also like to say thank you to our attendees, both those that are in person and those that are virtual, for joining in this celebration and marking it as the ceremony that it is. So before we move into the awards, I do have the pleasure to share that we have some personal comments from Congressman Neguse and then our very own Commissioner Redmond. So Kate's going to pull up some comments by Congressman Neguse, and this really just underlines the ways in which climate action and sustainability is a celebration of so many.
Hi everybody, Joe Neguse here. I'm proud to represent Colorado's 2nd Congressional District and to represent the people of Routt County from Oak Creek to Yampa to Steamboat Springs. And of course, couldn't be more grateful to be able to speak to all of you in the incredibly beautiful Yampa Valley region. I'm also proud to fight for Colorado's environmental future in the United States Congress and in particular on the House Committee on Natural Resources, where I serve as ranking member on the Subcommittee of Federal Lands. Today, together, we honor and uplift individuals and organizations who have shown a commitment to keeping our community safe, clean, and healthy for generations to come. From much-needed environmental education to volunteer service, I want to say thank you to all that you do to make Yampa Valley more sustainable. We couldn't be more grateful. I'm thrilled to be able to have the opportunity in particular to congratulate each and every one of you on winning this year's Yampa Valley Sustainability Award, and I wish I was there to present it to all of you in person. Thank you again for all that you do and all that I know you'll continue to do. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay hopeful.
Exciting. Congressman Neguse's office reached out and said, we heard about the awards ceremony and we would also really like to share in the celebration. So we said, of course, we would love that. And it is now my great pleasure to welcome Commissioner Redmond up and to say some personal words.
You know, as I look out at this room, this is what makes Steamboat and Routt County great. As I look out at this room and I know so many of you and I know how dynamic and what you bring to the table, that's why this is a great community, that the people in the community step up, take ownership, and help move things forward. And so it's a real honor to be in a room with these people. And when I look around, you know, I see Bob and Ever, what he's brought to this community. You know, it is amazing that we live in a community where the individuals feel it's on them to make things work. And so to be in this room and to be in a situation to help move this county forward is really a blessing and a pleasure. And you know what? I look forward to working with all of you. And I want you all to remember I'm here as a resource to help you move things forward. We've got a great community. And when I travel around the other counties of Colorado, it really brings it home to me what a special place this is. And it's you that make it special. And I just want to thank you and ask you to continue the work that you're doing. Thank you. And as always, I'm going to disappear and go back to work. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. And how lucky are we to have our commissioner come into an award ceremony and celebration of our community. So very quickly, I'll just go through what is the structure of today. Again, it is a celebration of you. It is a warm, friendly environment. So we have 14 awardees today. YVSC staff will be presenting each of the awards in turn. We've prepared some comments, and then the goal is, if you feel comfortable, for you to say a few words after. There's no pressure. But if you feel encouraged or invited to do so, please know that everyone will really like to hear from you. So again, today marks a celebration of all of the community leaders that make this such a special and celebrated place to live. So thank you. And first up, I will bring up, we have Tim, who will be presenting our first award. So thank you, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Michelle, and great to see everyone here today. So I'm here to present what we call the Yampa Valley Connector Award, and this year the award is going to the Colorado Cattlemen's Agricultural Land Trust. I'm going to refer to them as CCALT afterwards, and the work they do in the Yampa Valley under the banner of the Yampa Valley Conservation Partnership. This award, the Yampa Valley Connector Award, recognizes the individuals and organizations who bring The Conservation Partnership was created in 2019 when CCALT and the Yampa Valley Land Trust joined forces with a goal to combine the experience and statewide impact that CCALT brings with the local knowledge and passion that was exemplified by the Yampa Valley Land Trust. Interestingly, both of these land trusts really began their work in Routt County in the 1990s. This place has always been a real center of land conservation and conservation easement work. And together, the work between the two of them and continuing with the Cattlemen's, they've conserved more than 110,000 acres of private land with conservation easements in Routt and Moffat counties combined. In addition, in its work in all of Northwest Colorado. Conservation of agricultural properties is critically important to preserving the heritage and character of the Yampa Valley. Conservation easements help keep ranch families on the land, protect water quality and wildlife habitat, secure scenic views, and in some cases provide recreational access. Cattlemen's recently launched a new program to work with owners of conserved properties to practice additive conservation, helping landowners fund and implement restoration and stewardship projects that benefit all of us in the region. A key reason for this year's award is to recognize the many ways that land conservation can bring urban and rural residents of our valley together, an important issue. I think you all would agree. Routt County residents have voted multiple times, most recently in 2022, to dedicate some of our property taxes to help conserve properties through the purchase of development rights program. CCALT is a key player ensuring those funds are applied to quality projects that benefit both the landowners and the residents of the county. CCALT, through its regular stewardship visits, has contact with hundreds of landowners across the valley and helps them understand and respond to the challenges of ranching and farming as our resident population grows and our tourist visits grow, and as the impacts of climate change mount. Speaking as a member of the local advisory board, I can attest to how much the organization values input from a range of local stakeholders, particularly ranchers and farmers in the region, but organizations like YVSC, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, CSU Extension, and many others. CCALT also helps to spotlight shining examples of good land stewardship through something called the Leopold Conservation Award, which is awarded in partnership with the Sand County Foundation. And recent awardees in our counties include the Pankey Ranch and the Vizentiner Ranch in Moffat County, both spectacular examples of conservation and stewardship, and much, much closer to home, the Stenko Ranch, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with, just outside of town on the Yampa River. These awards and the work of the dedicated staff of CCALT, which are several of whom are based here in Steamboat, but they're also around the state that contribute to the work here. This work continues to highlight how ranching and conservation can work together and help keep the Yampa Valley a place where we can all work side by side to sustain what we so love about this part of the world. So it's my great pleasure to present, if I can find it, the Yampa Valley Connector Award to the Cattlemen's Agricultural Land Trust. We're very pleased to have Eric Glenn and Owen Yeager. Eric is the statewide director of the Cattlemen's Land Trust, and Owen is our very wonderful local representative that works out of the office, the cute little office next to the library, which you've all seen. So congratulations. Thank you for all you do. Please.
Well, good afternoon, and it is an honor to be here with you to celebrate this. And if you would have asked me in 2019 when we did the merger, if in 4 years later or 5 years later that I would be standing here accepting a sustainability partnership award, I would have been thrilled. This is seriously what we had hoped for, which was to do what we could when we decided to do the merger to become really a key component of this community, to listen, to get input from all of you, to make sure that the conservation that we do continues to work for the community. And it's not just about the ag land conservation. We want to continue to deliver the conservation, all types of conservation for this community that Cattlemen's and Yampa Valley Land Trust have been known for over 28 years now. And so this is truly humbling. It's truly an honor. Thank you to Tim and Michelle and the Yampa Valley Sustainability Council for all the work that you do, because without land conservation, without a good land stewardship base, we're going to lose the opportunities to make sure that we can continue to have great places for our kids and our grandkids to come and enjoy and to have a healthy and wonderful environment. And so I want to leave you with just one thing, and that is the 3 years before we did the merger in 2019, Cattlemen's and Yampa Valley Land Trust collectively did 9 conservation easements in the 5 Northwest Colorado counties that we service under the Yampa Valley Conservation Partnership. The 3 years, now we're going into 4, since the merger, we've done 46 projects, a more than 400% increase in the conservation work. And I fully attribute that to being local, to having people like Owen and Megan Knott, and Scott Wappus and all of our team here, and having our great advisory committee and the great local input. You guys really are remarkable. The landowners in this area are remarkable. We should be so proud to be Coloradans and members of the Yampa Valley community. Thank you.
Okay, there are quite a few people standing and we have, I think there might be chairs in there, but I think there's enough. So I'm going to take a pause, and those that are standing, we can roll some of the chairs and you can sit, because it's an hour and a half. I don't want you to have to be leaning. So maybe we can tag team it. But if you want to make space for chairs. Come on in and sit, so you don't have to sit. There's lots of chairs we can find. And then I will get us going on our next award. Yeah, so please find a good seat, settle in, and I do think there are more in the closet as well. What do we use? I think there's enough rolly chairs then too. Yeah, there's plenty of rolly chairs. You get to sit in a commissioner's chair. You could make today the day you sit in a commissioner's chair. Okay, so it is my great pleasure to move us into our second award recipient. It is our pleasure to present this year's Sustainable Business Award to Big Agnes. Our Sustainable Business Award honors those local businesses that demonstrate the ways businesses serve as sustainability and climate leaders. Big Agnes is a deserving recipient of this year's award for their steady commitment to reducing their environmental impacts in their manufacturing, material sourcing, and facilities wherever possible. Being a climate leader in the outdoor industry can be a daunting task, which is something that co-owner Len Zani is quick to admit, and Big Agnes demonstrates the ways that maintaining a focus on climate and community operationalizes sustainability in very meaningful ways. In the business world, the majority of emissions or embedded carbon is generated through production and transportation. Recognizing this, Big Agnes made an early decision years ago to make their Yampa facility powered by YVEA's Green Choice or 100% renewable energy program. Their warranty and repair facility in Copper Ridge has also been powered by YVEA's Green Power program since its inception, as is their Salt Lake City warehouse, which serves as their main U.S. distribution center, and it's powered by Rocky Mountain Power Blue's Sky Renewable Energy program. So all of their facilities are using the same clean energy source. Their energy choices thus make a very big difference where their local infrastructure stands, and we noticed. Realizing the ways that business leaders can also serve as powerful climate leaders, Big Agnes took an early step and signed on to the Outdoor Industry Climate Action Corps when it was first being formed. This collaborative climate coalition works to evaluate and reduce emissions where possible among outdoor business industries, and Big Agnes is currently deep into measuring their carbon using climate neutral business emissions evaluator tool and are working on setting their goals reduction policies. In the waste sector, more and more industry experts realize that our approach to materials management must first focus on reducing, reusing, and then recycling. To save customers money and to keep their materials in use, many of us have probably used Big Agnes's repair program, which then keeps materials and goods flowing in our community and in the service and in use. So it's a very important practice for our business leaders to use. Lastly, Big Agnes has been working to redefine how they color and produce their materials in order to reduce their water and energy use where possible. They incorporate many recycled fabrics and insulation into their products, and some of their best-selling tents are made from solution-dyed fabrics. If you're ever interested in it, Lynn can go through a talk, and it really is quite remarkable, those innovation decisions and how much of a consequence that they can have and a way that they can minimize their environmental impacts where they're produced. Big Agnes also is a certified RDS brand, and all of their down adheres to strict standards. Last but not least, Big Agnes shows ongoing commitment to their community, even as their goods travel nationwide, by bringing their goods back home to sell to the community. I think many of us have really benefited from the ways in which they bring goods back to the community and sell them at discounted prices. And then also they design chairs that benefit local nonprofits. If some of them have seen some of the chairs, for instance, that benefited the Yampa River Fund last year. And they actively participate in local green business initiatives when possible. Sustainable business, as Big Agnes shows, is a practice. And today it is our opportunity to recognize all the ways that their team has chosen to model community and environmental stewardship through their production and innovation choices. We look forward to seeing all the ways Big Agnes continues to reduce environmental impacts while maximizing community benefits in the years ahead. So at this time, it is my pleasure to bring Lynn Zani and team, Lynn Zani up to receive this.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, YVSC staff for the award. Don't have any long prepared comments or anything, but I just want to recognize a couple of our crew members, Jacob Allen and Andy Ditkin. So all that repair facility work that we talked about, Jacob's crew handles that over at Copper Ridge, and Andy's crew talks to the consumers and sends it all their way. And after 23 years in business, as you can imagine, there's a lot of product out there, and we see thousands of things come back a year for warranty type repair, or Roman candle holes through a tent fly, or you know, when there's a big windstorm in Moab and everyone's been there, you know, in this room, tents get trashed, especially when people don't stake them out. So please stake your tents out in the wind so you don't need to call Andy's crew. My colleague Katie in marketing, we really try to drive home all these sustainability attributes of our products and everything we do, you know, through the marketing lens. And it's really made a big impact on our brand globally. We sell to about 23 different countries and manufacture in 5 different countries. So there's a tremendous amount of product moving around the globe, which is also pretty daunting. You know, when Michelle first reached out, I said, well, I'm not really sure if we can accept it, because, you know, we know how much work there is to do ahead. So it's kind of like getting or getting a permit for a river you're not sure if you can run, or a peak you're not sure you can climb, and we're only at base camp. So there's more ahead, and thanks for the award, and thanks everyone for support locally. Thank you.
Hi there. My name is Ryan Messenger, and I will be presenting the Shining Star Award, which is presented to those individuals who advance sustainability in impactful and unique ways. This year's Shining Star recipient is Dylan Anderson for elevating community voices and serving as a reliable and insightful source of information on climate and local government through his online newspaper, the Yampa Valley Bugle. Dylan grew up in Minnesota, and after realizing that he wanted to be more informed and to inform others, he pursued a degree in journalism from the University of Minnesota. He believes journalism can significantly impact the well-being of communities, as an informed community is more connected and empathetic. Dylan moved to Steamboat Springs in October of 2020 to work for the Steamboat Pilot in Today. But as we found out this summer, he spent some time in Boulder, because we realized that we actually worked at the same t-shirt shop on Pearl Street for a few months. So that was pretty neat. In April of last year, he founded the Yampa Valley Bugle. It's an online community-based independent journalistic outlet covering the communities of Routt County. In 2023, the Morning Bugle newsletter published 77 editions. It reached 1,374 subscribers and published over 200 independently reported news stories. In an age of rising misinformation and hyperpartisanship, the role of independent journalism and trusted local news outlets is more important than ever. Journalists like Dylan play a crucial civic role in informing the public and aiding communities in making informed decisions. In just the 9 short months since Dylan started the Yampa Valley Bugle, he has managed to achieve this and so much more. The Yampa Valley Bugle has been instrumental in informing the public on important issues happening throughout the Yampa Valley. Dylan's coverage of City Council's journey to banning gas-powered snowmelt gave our community insight into this important issue that will take us one step closer to achieving the goals set forth in the Routt County Climate Action Plan. He has also written extensively about the steamboat housing crisis, local elections and ballot measures, statewide issues, and much more. YVSC shares our community's gratitude for having a trusted source of news like the Bugle to stay informed about issues that affect us most. We are also grateful for Dylan's coverage of our organization and the role we play in our community over the last year. He first reported on YVSC's Yampa Valley Climate Crew during the California Park Wet Meadow Restoration Project back in August. He actually came as a reporter and left as a volunteer because he was only supposed to stay for about an hour and stayed for 5 hours because he had too much fun building Z-like rock structures. Since then, he's come to more events. He came to the Retree event in October at the Carpenter Ranch, as well as our planting on Elkhead Creek near Craig. After he came to those events, he wrote an awesome article detailing the tree planting projects that YVSC has implemented over the summer and fall. Dylan plans to take steps towards making the Yampa Valley Bugle a nonprofit in 2024, and his ultimate goal is for the newspaper to be an avenue for sustainable journalism in the Yampa Valley that will continue to cover the people and the happenings of this part of Colorado long into the future. It is with great honor that we present the 2023 YVSC Shining Star Award to Dylan Anderson, and we look forward to another year of staying informed with the Yampa Valley Bugle.
Howdy, everybody. Yeah, so thanks so much. This is really cool. When I talk about the Bugle, I say we a lot, despite it mainly being just me. But when I say that, I'm kind of talking about community organizations, kind of like the Sustainability Council. Ryan mentioned the One Rock Dam structure story. That wouldn't have happened if he wouldn't have reached out. And so an important thing in growing the Bugle and getting more people to read is kind of the community's participation in it. And so thanks to everybody that has participated, and thanks for your future participation. So thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Brocato. I'm YVSC's Communications and Program Manager, and today I'm presenting our Rising Leader Award. This year's Rising Leader Award is presented to Marguerite Pallone. Our Rising Leader Award recognizes young members of the Yampa Valley community who have demonstrated outstanding leadership and commitment to local climate action and sustainability initiatives. And this award is presented to Marguerite in particular for her commitment to utilizing the arts as a thoughtful and creative means of increasing climate literacy and initiating important climate conversations. Marguerite received her Bachelor's of Arts in Design from Seattle University in 2021 with a minor in Environmental Studies. This began her passion for utilizing art to support climate science and inspire climate action. Marguerite notes the disconnect between emerging research and public knowledge and thought that her art could be one method to try and bridge this gap. Marguerite came to YVSC as an intern in 2022 during our fall term. The timing couldn't have been more perfect as we were embarking on planning our first ever signature fundraising event, Insight Art for Climate Action. The fundraiser was in its infancy at that point, but it was clear that Marguerite's expertise would be essential to bringing in the artist's perspective and experience to an event that was built with the intention of uplifting artists and the arts as a means of communicating climate science. I had the pleasure of working closely with Marguerite as her staff mentor across 3 internship terms. To say that the event wouldn't have been nearly the success that it was without Marguerite is an understatement. If you've ever been a part of an event planning process, you know that it's quite an undertaking. And Marguerite proved instrumental in generating the prompts for our call for artists, communicating and coordinating with our artists one-on-one. And she also created a beautiful community mural that was painted by event attendees. I learned so much from her throughout the process, and the event that YVSC has created will continue to have lasting impacts as it generates new conversations surrounding climate change. Marguerite reflects that climate science gives us a very physical understanding of how we are affecting our environments, but it is also very emotional to live during a time where the Earth systems that allow us to thrive are breaking down because of our own actions. Art can help us process emotions around this crisis and therefore can help to build community and connection around our shared issues. Marguerite's goal in using art as a form of climate communication is to inspire each of us to find the role we play in creating a positive force in our own ecosystems. In working so closely with our community of Yampa Valley artists, Marguerite has noticed how each artist's care and appreciation for our ecosystems in the Yampa Valley is tangible in their work and in their conversations. And beyond this, the artist community seems to understand how important it is for a community to care for the land together and use our ecosystems as a point of connection to each other. As a rising leader of the next generation herself, Marguerite notes how the younger generations have the poignant experience of growing up with climate change and environmental degradation being the reality of their world. They don't know a world before climate change, and this particular sense of being in the world brings a special awareness and sense of urgency into their action. Marguerite feels very hopeful when she sees youth taking climate action because they move with such care and a clear understanding of the crisis. Please join us in thanking Marguerite for her contributions to YVSC, the Yampa Valley, and the climate action movement.
Thank you so much, Kate, and thank you so much, Michelle. And I really just want to say that the opportunity that YVSC gave me through my internship terms was nothing I ever could have hoped for or dreamed of after graduating from school and thinking that this was something I wanted to do. They trusted me with this idea that was very new and something they had never done before, and it turned out to be beautiful and engaging and empowering for me, and I hope for the whole community. So thank you so much to YVSC. You all are very wonderful, and I learned so much from you all. And if you didn't go to Insight last year, please come this year because it's going to keep growing and turn into a wonderful, beautiful event for everybody. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Paul Boney, the Energy and Transportation Director for the Yampa Valley Sustainability Council. And it dawned on me, if we come back all at the same group to the next county commissioner meeting, we would scare the bejesus out of them. So it's really exciting to see such a big group here today. So speaking of governments, I am here to present the Government Leadership and Sustainability Award. And this year, we're happy to award that to the Routt County Regional Building Department, which I may refer to as the building department as I go on here. The Government Leadership and Sustainability Award recognizes those who go above and beyond their position to advance sustainability and integrated solutions to sustainability challenges and to provide the vision, leadership, and hard work necessary to advance climate initiatives. The Routt County Building Department has earned this award through their work in not just in this last year, but they've really developed a process for developing and implementing building codes for all of Routt County. Now that's important because buildings account for over 50%. It's the single largest source of carbon emissions in the valley. And they do that work for the rural county, the city of Steamboat Springs, the town of Hayden, the town of Oak Creek, the town of Yampa, and the Yampa Valley School District. So their work really encompasses every government agency in the valley. Building codes are an essential platform that has a huge impact on the transition to a rapidly evolving post-carbon regional economy. And the Routt County Building Department partners with us, the Sustainability Council, on green building program initiatives, the energy code, and sustainability practices related to construction on an ongoing basis. So it's probably easy for you to figure out that building code advancement is not an easy process. There's a lot of stakeholders in the construction and development industry. There's a lot of government interest in construction and codes. But through their knowledge, skilled management, and community and industry outreach and education, I'll go into that a little bit more, they've really pulled it off. And education and outreach is a core value for the building department. And they just do an amazing job. To change a building code, and that's about an every 3-year cycle, you have to first be a technical expert to understand what the folks who write the International Building Code are trying to say. Then you have to communicate that internally to the political organizations that are going to adopt those codes. And then they have to train the building industry on what the changes are going to be, how it impacts their businesses. And then they have to go out in the field and help them meet those new code requirements. So that's a really heavy lift. And they do a magnificent job of keeping everybody informed and educated through the whole process. And just, I'll take a little second here. The process starts with, there's a new code. The building department's really smart. They're not the early adopters. They're 3 years behind all the pioneers, right? Because we all know that pioneers get the arrows and settlers get the land, right? So they let the other folks find out what's working and not working. Then they do an educational series with the building industry so they know what's coming. They get their feedback, which is hugely important in any kind of government entity. That goes into the final code proposals, which are then presented to all of the governments for adoption. And then afterwards, there's post education for the building community. So it really is a well-organized, well-thought-out, well-delivered process. And they've been doing that over time very successfully. And the big keystone or capstone this year was the incorporating climate action things into the code that was adopted, the 2021 code, which included EV readiness, no fossil fuel snow melt, and the traditional upgrades that go into code compliance. So for that work in the past and last year and going forward into the future, it's with great pleasure we award the Routt County Regional Building Department this year's Sustainable Government Leadership Award. And I don't know who's going to accept it. We got Todd, we got Jay, we got Christy. So y'all can come up if you want to, but I need a speaker. I'm going to give you a plaque too.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. It's a real honor in a building department world. I've been at this, I guess, since 2011. You don't get awards usually, right, as a regular department. So don't be surprised if we're walking around like this is the Stanley Cup and we're kissing it around our department later, because it means a lot to us. A lot of work goes into the adoption of these codes. But I do want to take time to like reflect on what Dylan said and Commissioner Redmond. It's a community approach here, right? So it's not just the building department that earned this award. It's everyone in the community. And we have some members back here that were on the CAP board. First, Paul was on that with the Energy Sector Working Group. We got Brian Adams, if you want to put your hand up right there. We got Norm right there. And Dan's here, Dan LeBlanc, right? These guys were all volunteers among others, like what we have 12 or 13 total that spent over a year on the CAP Energy Sector Working Group that led to some of the building code adoptions that we incorporated. And then most importantly, we have our contractors and design professionals that Paul mentioned. I mean, we have great working relationships with them. We take their ideas and their concepts and try to incorporate those into our codes. And then they do all the hard work in the field, right? Putting the codes to work with the right materials and products and quality and workmanship. So we want to thank them as well. And last are the elected officials, right? They have the tough job of taking what we propose and then turning it into full adoption right through the approval process. So really a team approach, without a doubt. I love working in this community for that reason. And thank you, YBSC, as well. Appreciate it.
Hi, everyone. My name's Cody Dolan. I'm the Forest Resilience Projects Manager with YVSC. And it is with great pleasure that we recognize our Partner of the Year as the team of dedicated foresters, water resource managers, and wildlife biologists with our local Hans Peak, Bears Ears, and Yampa U.S. Forest Service District offices. This group of individuals is committed to partnering with YVSC to build community involvement in forest, water, and range management, and to advancing natural climate solutions such as restoration projects that promote forest resilience, river and riparian function, and wetland health. Since 2022, the USFS has partnered with YVSC on our California Park Wet Meadow Restoration Project. They've been instrumental in the implementation of this project, from site identification and environmental review to constructing the restoration structures and site cleanup.
The effort is designed to reverse channelization of these upland wet meadows and slow water movement to re-enter the surrounding floodplain. With USFS oversight and funding, YVSC coordinated volunteers and RMYC staff to organize and install the rock dam structures, and we've collectively restored 1.5 miles of ephemeral streams in California Park, restoring approximately 5.5 acres of wet meadow habitat. In addition to wet meadow collaboration, the USFS has been identifying burned forest sites for tree planting projects and regeneration surveys in order to prioritize vulnerable areas that need tree planting in order to recover. In 2023, YVSC Climate Crew volunteers spent 3 days with the USFS planting 3,000 seedlings at the Muddy Slide Burn Scar and several days conducting regeneration surveys at the Silver Creek Burn area near Rabbit Ears and Big Red Park Burn area in North Route with YVSC's Climate Crew. The USFS team has adjusted their implementation of these projects to make it possible for community volunteers to engage. This builds awareness of the importance of forest restoration and educates the community on the process. The USFS team continues to be a reliable thought partner for reforestation efforts and potential new projects such as seed collection for future plantings. YVSC looks forward to partnering with the USFS to gather locally adapted ponderosa pine, Douglas fir, and lodgepole pine seeds for future reforestation efforts as we consider adaptation to climate change impacts and prepare for warmer, drier conditions. We look forward to our ongoing collaborations with the USFS team in 2024 and beyond, and value their dedication to restoring the health of our forests, rivers, and wetlands. The USFS has also been a strong partner and leader in the Yampa Valley regarding other land and water projects. In 2023, USFS and YVSC partnered to develop the framework for a citizen science for soil moisture project in the Yampa River Basin. This project aims to increase the geographic range, number, and frequency of soil moisture observations to better inform land and water management decision-making by engaging citizens. So congratulations to the USFS team for being our choice for YVSC's Partner of the Year Award.
Anybody wants to come up from Forest Service, welcome to. Stand behind you. Say a few things here. Well, first off, on behalf of the Forest Service, thank you for this recognition from YVSC. And, you know, we know there are a lot of amazing partners in the Yampa Valley, which just makes this even more special. The Forest Service's work is diverse and covers a large area. So it's amazing how many different types of projects we're working on in partnership with the Yampa Valley Sustainability Council. A few were mentioned. So, you know, working with you on the CAP, planting, regeneration surveys, California Park wet meadow restoration. That's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many other things we're doing together. So, you know, for its size, I feel like the Yampa Valley Sustainability Council is having a huge impact on the Yampa Valley. And maybe it's just me and I kind of think you guys are small, but like every time I turn around, I feel like you guys are just getting bigger and bigger. And I don't know if that's staff or that's just the amazing work that continues to be done. So with all the things we've been doing together, it's almost like we should be giving you guys an award because you've done so many projects with us and getting volunteers and others to come out and help do some amazing work on the ground here in the Yampa Valley. So with that, we look forward to our continued partnership and thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. My name is Ashley Dean, and I'm the Collaboratives Initiatives Manager for YVSC. I'm going to be presenting the Environmental Caring Award today. The Environmental Caring Award recognizes projects or initiatives that help chart a path forward for a sustainable future in the Yampa Valley. YVSC is pleased to award this year's Environmental Caring Award to the Routt County Climate Action Plan working groups. I'm presenting on behalf of CAP Collaborative Board Chair Gail Gary, who wishes she could be here today, but she is currently attending a meeting of the Colorado Association Association of Ski Towns. In addition to her role as CAP Board Chair, Councilor Gary is also an active and valued member of the CAP working groups of waste and economy. And I've also had the pleasure to work with you all over the course of the year as your project management entity. For those who may be unfamiliar, in 2021, Route County, the city of Steamboat Springs, and the towns of Hayden, Oak Creek, and Yampa adopted the Route County Climate Action Plan and signed an intergovernmental agreement to form the Route County Climate Action Plan Collaborative. The purpose of the collaborative is to work together to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in Route County through the implementation of the Climate Action Plan. In 2022, the collaborative board created 5 working groups representing energy, transportation, waste, land use, and economy. Each working group is composed of 10 to 15 diverse technical experts, government staff, and dedicated community members. Tasked to identify and prioritize specific implementation actions that best advance the strategies and actions identified in the CAP. Over the course of a year, over 60 working group members voluntarily attended monthly meetings to review CAP strategies and actions, evaluate what was currently being done, and ultimately to come up with a list of recommended actions. Members reviewed the recommendation language and helped assess their feasibility and impact. This rigorous process, an investment of over 1,400 volunteer hours, resulted in 40 high-impact recommended actions. Working group members also participated in a successful community open house to present the recommendations to the public, and the recommendations were ultimately approved by the CAP Collaborative Board. Additionally, throughout the year, working group members lent their voice in consultation on timely implementation opportunities like outdoor snow melt, updated building and land use codes, recycling, and local procurement, issues that will have a lasting impact on carbon emissions in our community. We are now in the implementation phase of the CAP and are grateful that so many community volunteers have and continue to offer their time and expertise to guide our governmental partners and other organizations in implementation of this important community plan. In recognition of the critical role the CAP working groups have played in moving climate action forward at a time when immediate action is needed, I am pleased to present them with the Environmental Caring Award. And there are a few of you guys in the crowd, so please come up and our chair here, one of our chairs, and another chair.
We get to make a speech here. I wasn't ready for that. Well, thank you, Sustainability Council. This is really an honor. And, you know, a few years ago, I found myself with a little bit of time on my hands, and I went through a prioritization process to identify what is important to me and how I can stay engaged in this community. And climate change rose to the top of the list. And it just so happened that a number of volunteers spent 2 years developing the Route County Climate Action Plan. And there was an opportunity to serve on the board and the working groups for the ongoing work to implement the Climate Action Plan. So it's been a real honor and pleasure to do a small part in working toward addressing the issues of climate change. And I appreciate the recognition. So thank you.
I want to echo his sentiments and also say that YVSC has been really helpful in making this happen. And we couldn't have done it without them, especially when I recognize Paul Boney for our group, really helped push us forward. And Ashley, the two of them, their facilitation and helping us to manage the process, which is kind of a beast and pretty unwieldy. When you put 15 volunteers in a room who all have different ideas, we came out with a really solid product, and YVSC helped us get to that place. I wanted to just put a plug in for them. So thank you very much.
I'll next be presenting our Sustainable Community Leader Award, and it's with great pleasure that we present our Sustainable Community Leader Award to Colorado Mountain College Steamboat Springs. This award recognizes those entities who help define and build sustainability in the Yampa Valley by advancing cross-cutting initiatives with sustainability at their core. CMC in particular has been chosen for this award for their commitment to reducing environmental impacts and promoting sustainability across campus and college-wide operations. Training the next generation of climate leaders and ecosystem stewards, and helping to define, lead, and elevate community climate action initiatives across our valley. As an alum of CMC's Sustainability Studies program, I can say with confidence that CMC demonstrates not only a clear commitment to student success, but also to community building and engagement. In addition to the Sustainability Studies program, CMC Steamboat Springs also offers a Bachelor of Science in Ecosystem Science and Stewardship and a Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, among many associates programs. All three programs are deeply engaged with our community and have proven able to continuously adapt and respond to growing workforce demands from local and regional partners committed to furthering sustainability across our programs, which further local workforce skills training, including, Additionally, CMC provides our region with important certificate programs which further local workforce skills training, including sustainability leadership, geographic information science, US EPA watershed technician, and permaculture design. The permaculture design program in particular is made possible through CMC's Bear Park Permaculture Center. This unique site houses a 42-foot growing dome and includes many examples of sustainable agriculture techniques that are utilized for hands-on learning with students. Students also have a unique opportunity to apply for 2 competitive internships that have been developed with partner organizations. Now in its 6th year, the U.S. Forest Service internship program has placed 15 CMC alumni into full-time career positions in the Forest Service, including 5 full-time employees in our very own Medicine Bow Route National Forests. Additionally, CMC helps develop the partnered Center for Western Weather and Water Extremes, CMC YVSC Summer Internship Program. 9 CMC students have been accepted into the program, conducted original research with co-mentors from Scripps Institution, YVSC, and CMC, and presented their findings at UC San Diego. CMC's community engagement and commitment to sustainability extends beyond the classroom in more ways than one. In 2018, CMC co-created the Yampa Basin Rendezvous with Yampa Valley Sustainability Council, the Center for Western Weather and Water Extremes, Friends of the Yampa, and Steamboat Resort. The conference is highly collaborative, science-based, and focuses on water and weather in the Yampa River Basin. College-wide, CMC demonstrates a commitment to institutional climate action through its Climate Action Plan, a sustainability tracking assessment and rating reports, sustainability action plan, and the college president's climate leadership commitment. At YVSC, we recognize that a sustainable community is so much more than a community that takes climate action, and CMC has shown this as well. CMC Steamboat Springs has offered several DEI events, hosted its first Posada for the Latino community, and has partnered with Integrated Community on expanding its interpretation and translation services. In 2023, the campus also completed the construction of its new apartment-style housing, providing important affordable housing for their students. Lastly, the campus serves as a venue for many nonprofit events, trainings, and this includes the Routt County Wildfire Mitigation Conference. Please join us in thanking Colorado Mountain College for their commitment to students, the community, and climate action.
Our post.
Good one.
Thank you. I'm Dr. J.C. Norling. I serve as the Vice President and Campus Dean up at the campus. And my eyes must be going because we do have a Frisbee golf course. And I thought these awards were Frisbees. Just kidding.
So I just want to thank Michelle Stewart as the executive director and all the staff at YBSC. I want to thank the community members. Colorado Mountain College is a dual mission college, which means we are a community college, but we're also serving through bachelor's, associates, and certificate programs. So that's been great for us to meet the needs of the community. I do want to recognize Steamboat Springs School District and the high school. We do a lot of concurrent enrollment with them, and that allows young people and students to get involved with college classes. You mentioned all the programs, and I wish I had your speech when I had my evaluation with the president a couple days ago. We have done a lot. And it's not me, it's really our group, our staff and faculty there on fire. Amazing group of people there that do amazing things. There's a few folks I wanted to recognize. Dr. Tina Evans, who runs our Sustainability Studies Bachelor's. Dr. Nathan Stewart, who runs the Ecosystem Science and Stewardship degree. That's a new degree, and also is running the Rocky Mountain Land Management Institute program. Becky Edmiston teaches in permaculture and leads the beekeeping program. She's with us today representing. I'm going to tell you one quick story and then I'll step away. So this is kind of fun. Down at Treaded Pioneers, there's at the museum there, they're doing a piece on the Tolles family. I don't know if you saw that. George Tolles, and we have to honor people that came before us, was a professor up at the college. And so when you go up to the college for many of the events that you'll attend, you usually try to park up front of the new building, which is now about 12 years old. So here's the story. George Tolles was a douser. And when the construction guys were putting in the parking lot in that building, he told them, be careful, we're built on an underground river. They were drilling over 100 wells. Eventually they put in this geothermal system. So when you park there, you're parking on geothermal wells that heat the building. So anyway, he told one of our long-term faculty, Terry Hunter, he's like, you watch what's going to happen. They're going to create a geyser when they start drilling. And the construction guy said, no way, it's not going to happen. Well, of course it did. The rest is kind of history. It's all under pavement right now. But next time you park there, realize that building's being heated by geothermal. So thank you, YBSC. Appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Hello again. I will be presenting this year's Volunteer of the Year Award, which recognizes those individuals who have gone above and beyond the call of service to advance sustainability in the community. Our Volunteer of the Year for 2023 is Liz Green, who demonstrated how volunteerism and community commitment to climate action are essential to advancing natural climate solutions throughout the Yampa Valley. Liz is a former experiential educator and course director for the Colorado Outward Bound School, having guided in Peru, Nepal, and Mexico, and also has rescue patrol experience on Denali in Alaska. She attended medical school at the University of Vermont and recently retired from clinical practice. She is a member of the American Academy of Family Physicians Climate Change and Environmental Health Interest Group, and in the fall of 2023 participated in the GIS for Climate Action course. Aside from her work with YVSC, she is also an active volunteer with the Routt County Wildfire Mitigation Council. Liz has been a huge supporter of YVSC's Yampa Valley Climate Crew, which links community members to volunteer opportunities that address the climate threat facing our planet, so that our community can also be a part of climate solutions. Liz attended the first Climate Crew event of 2023, planting lodgepole pine seedlings in the Muddy Creek burn scar with the U.S. Forest Service. As soon as I met her, I knew that this was exactly what she was meant to be doing in her free time. Her enthusiasm for climate action and volunteering was quickly apparent, and it wasn't long before she became a familiar face at Climate Crew events throughout the summer. In total, Liz attended 7 events, including the Wet Meadow Restoration Project in California Park, 2 seedling surveys, both retree events, and our last project at Elkhead Creek. Her dedication to these natural climate solution projects not only earned her a free Climate Crew sun shirt, but also importantly will help increase sequester carbon and promote climate resiliency within our landscapes. The Yampa Valley Climate Crew and the retree programs are only successful because of inspiring volunteers like Liz. Her hard work, positive attitude, and sense of hope for the future drive us to continue to build out these great programs, knowing that we have the full support of our wonderful community members. Please join us in thanking Liz Green for her service to climate action and volunteerism and receiving the 2023 Volunteer of the Year Award.
Thank you. This is quite an honor because I really didn't have to work that hard. This was fun. It was like a party. And it had somewhat of a transformative effect. Back in 1987, when I was working the Outward Bound school, we were getting ready for a course. And we had a course director who was getting his PhD at the University of Colorado in biology. His name was Barry Rosenbaum. And I think he went off and is still doing snow leopard research in Mongolia. But he sat us down and he said, there's this thing called climate change. Global warming, I think, is really what we referred to it then. And it was totally new to me, yet we were outdoor educators. And he pretty much read us the Riot Act, cited the research, and we were in our 20s living out of our cars. What were we going to do? I mean, it really felt helpless. And, you know, we went on with our business and didn't seem like things were changing that fast. And we didn't really have anything to market with. But fast forward however many years it's been, and a lot of us dissipated into professional lives. And the news started picking up on it. And it was probably, you know, within, I don't know, was it 2019 or 20, there were the big fires. And at that point, I was working telehealth out of my house, and the sky was just that incredibly dismal color. And I was reading in the charts because it was telehealth, and I was covering groups in hot places like Phoenix. And there were all these heat injuries, and ER physicians were completely not in tune. They were completely missing it, yet it was textbook diagnoses. And it was really overwhelming for me. And at one point, I remember shutting the computer off and just putting my head down on the desk. It's like, what am I feeling? And the word was despair. There's nothing I can do about this. Here I'm, you know, working up to 20 hours a day, and maybe it's time for retirement. So retirement rolled around, and that sense of despair continued because I can really see it. I've been having lived outside, having slept on the ground for probably 240 days a year and in my youthful time. And then going back out and noticing the stress the environment is feeling and reeling from, and trying to adapt, but not really having the momentum to do that. And I was like, well, I have to get involved. You know, I'll join climate groups and I'll learn more. I'll self-educate. And I don't know if that was helpful. I felt more despair, but then I learned about the Sustainability Council, and you can actually pick yourself up out of your chair and go do something. And what I found was, taking that anxiety, climate anxiety, despair, and actually moving and working with a group of people with similar goals was very transformative. I took that negative emotion and it moved into one of positive, hopeful, energetic, and I could see the changes that had been made from previous work. Because when we did seedling surveys, you could go see, well, look, it's coming up. Oh my gosh. And you could also see the work that still needs to be done with all the sterilized soil out in some of these massive burn areas. So I really think the award goes to the Sustainability Council. This is an incredible collaborative effort that I don't think really exists anywhere else in the country after having done just some web searches. And it's through this collaboration and understanding and hope that we can make these changes. So I want to thank Sustainability Council for providing this opportunity for us community members and people still trying to find our way to give us an avenue to transform kind of the negative stuff that could really sink us. So thank all of you.
Hello, my name is Madison Muxworthy. I am the Soil, Moisture, Water, and Snow Program Manager for YVSC, and it is my sincere honor to present a Lifetime Achievement Award to Liz Schnackenberg. This is in recognition of her lifetime commitment to the stewardship of watersheds in Northwest Colorado. Liz recently retired in 2023 from her position as the Forest Service hydrologist with the Medicine Bow Route National Forest and the Thunder Basin National Grassland. And our Lifetime Achievement Award recognizes those individuals whose years of professional service have helped to build the road we at YVSC and our community continue to walk along in our endeavors to sustain the rich cultural and natural heritage of the Yampa Valley. During her 30-year career with the U.S. Forest Service, Liz's work focused on the effects of land management activities on watershed hydrology and wetland riparian conditions. As a hydrologist, Liz's primary objective was to build and maintain watershed resiliency by balancing watershed function with multiple uses, climate change, and natural events such as beetle epidemics and wildfires. She was a member of the Colorado Riparian Training Team from 2004 to 2022, and she taught riparian assessment methods to land managers and local citizens around the state of Colorado. She worked on some of Colorado's largest recent wildfires, notably including the High Meadow Fire in 2000, where she worked on flood flow modeling, and she also was integral in the Lake Christine Fire in 2018. She implemented the burned area emergency response at that fire. Her passion for protecting watersheds has taken her across the US and internationally. She has worked in Mongolia, China, Australia, and Georgia on wetland conservation and post-fire planning. In 2019, she was awarded a Fulbright Specialist to Portugal, where she trained foresters with strategies to prevent post-fire response. And additionally, in 2019, Liz was recognized by the US President as a member of the Department of State Exchange Program. In 2023, she also received the Wagon Wheel Gap Hydrology Award from the USDA. Among her many accomplishments and international work, Liz always stayed rooted here in the Yampa Valley and has had a lasting impact on our community because of this. This impact of Liz's work can be illustrated through the voices of her colleagues from who she inspired throughout her career. I reached out to a couple of them to get some anecdotes from them, and so I'll share them here briefly. Melissa Dressen, who is the U.S. Forest Service Regional Wildlife Program Leader and Resource Advisor Coordinator, says, I was fortunate enough to work with Liz for close to 27 years on the Medicine Bow Route National Forest. Liz was much more than a Forest Service hydrologist. Liz took on roles as national lead for the burned area emergency response teams. When a wildfire happened, the Forest Service called on Liz to assist with reducing the impacts of floods across the country. This role took her to greater heights as a global leader and being requested to serve in this capacity for Portugal, Spain, Australia, and more. Liz is a natural leader, and she is also an amazing mentor, and she's a good friend who made time to listen. When Liz retired, we had a huge hole to fill in the Forest Service, but as every great leader does, she mentored us along the way. So we're rising to the occasion to be great leaders too. Tyler Carlton, who is now the hydrologist with U.S. Forest Service Route National Forest, reflects that Liz's career of work protecting our soil, water, and air resources in the Yampa River watershed and beyond serves as an inspiration for him and many others. Kelly Romero-Heaney, Assistant Director for Water Policy for Colorado Division of Water Resources, shares, although she's never one to need them, Liz is so deserving of any praise, award, or accolades she can get. She is one person that has driven landscape scale change for a region, and through this investment in others for an entire state. And I'll say, as a young professional in the water community, Liz is an inspiration for me and many others. Liz holds a bachelor's degree in geology from Colorado College and a master's degree in watershed science from Colorado State University. And since she retired last year, she enjoys spending time outdoors with her husband, Larry, and being outside with her, whether it's on 2 skis, 2 wheels, or 2 feet. And so it's with great pleasure that we present this Lifetime Achievement Award to Liz for her career of protecting watersheds in Northwest Colorado and beyond.
Well, thank you. When I got the email from Madison, I was shocked and honored. And so I greatly appreciate it. And I have to say, part of the reason I was able to pursue some of the things or perhaps some accomplishments or make at least some steps forward was I had the support from my leadership internally, and I had the support from the rest of the water resources group within the Yampa River Basin, of which there are many. We have so many good water leaders, and also recognizing that water goes beyond the river, that extends beyond that. And I have to say, the advantage of going later in the program is I agree with what so many other people have said, is I actually feel like this award should be going to YVSC, because they have been a tremendous partner, and it's partners like them that are with their support and their leadership that we can make progress. And it's the thing, I think, Liz, you mentioned despair, right? It's, that you had this feeling of despair, but it's the kind of thing that in watching what has happened since the, YVSC came into being, and watching the growth, and whoever else said every time they turn around, there's just more of them. I have to say, it's largely due to leadership and just the growth of that organization. So with that, I will just say thank you.
Hello again. And it's my great pleasure to present our second Lifetime Achievement Award, this time to Audrey and Bob Aniver. Audrey left us in 2023, but we were very honored to have Bob here with us today to receive this award, recognizing both of them for their incredible contributions to conservation and sustainability and the Yampa Valley region. Audrey and Bob have left a lasting legacy for the residents of the Yampa Valley through their efforts over many years to create and grow the Yampa River Botanic Park into the gem it is today. They have also demonstrated a lifetime of caring for nature and encouraging others to do the same. Audrey and Bob, and I think you'll hear from Bob about this story of this, initiated and then led, literally hands-on, the effort to transform a hay pasture along the Yampa River into our spectacular botanic garden. Their vision was to create a space for people to enjoy and learn about the natural world around us, and to foster respect and awe for the beauty of nature. Today, anyone who visits the Botanic Park would agree they succeeded in that vision. The Botanic Park welcomes more than 35,000 visitors annually, and it is one of the top attractions in Steamboat for residents and visitors alike. The park allows guests to experience plants from a variety of environments, but particularly the landscapes that surround us here in the Yampa Valley. The garden showcases the beauty of native plants, and YVSC is very proud to partner with the garden, with the park today, to promote landscaping with native plants to help conserve water and to benefit native wildlife, particularly pollinators and birds. And I would say birds are also a passion for the Anivers, from the multiple creative and bird feeders at their Steamboat home to the osprey nest near the Botanic Park. Bob is a talented photographer and has published multiple books about the birds of Northwest Colorado, and particularly the beloved ospreys of the Yampa River, documenting their recovery and return. In addition to the Botanic Park, Audrey and Bob have been generous supporters of many other conservation organizations, and they really demonstrate what a life devoted to appreciation and support for nature looks like. I'll say on a personal note, I first met Audrey and Bob when I was the state director of the Nature Conservancy in Colorado. And it was always such a pleasure whenever I would come to Steamboat to be invited into their home, to have a wonderful sit in their wonderful living room with the birds and the flowers around. Always offered a very proper cup of tea. Was very important. But they were so caring about the work that was being done by the staff of the Nature Conservancy and other people working in this area, had great encouragement and ideas about how to engage people in nature and what we could do to bring people along more. And it really was a shining example of graciousness and commitment to making the world a better place. So for giving so much to the residents and visitors to the Yampa Valley, and for their personal commitment to raising awareness of the beauty of the natural world, we are very pleased to recognize Audrey in her absence, and we miss her much, and Bob Enever for their lifetime achievements in sustainability.
Thank you so much. Well, I have a very hard time living up to that introduction. Thank you. The Sustainability Council invited me here today to receive this Lifetime Achievement Award, which I shall treasure, excuse me, all the more, because my beloved Audrey shares this with me, and I wish she could be here. I'm going to use my time to tell you the story of how tiny Steamboat Springs, Colorado, came to have a botanic park, a place for people to commune with nature, and in serenity. As a teenager, I made flower gardens for my mother with a vague idea of a plan in my head and a shovel and a wheelbarrow. Audrey and I were married for 68 years. All of that time, one of our unspoken sharings was that Audrey loved to plant and tend flower gardens, and I would make gardens for her at the houses we lived in. So in 1989, after 18 years in Steamboat Springs, I built us a new home with 150 linear feet of raised flower gardens on the south side of the house, including a brick patio. This time I used a contractor instead of my hands. For the last 30 years of Audrey's life, she loved that garden. 3 years later, the city was building the core trail along the Yampa River and wanted to go through Fish Creek Mobile Home Park that Audrey and I had owned for 17 years. Without anyone talking to me or any formal discussions or negotiations with the city or its attorneys, I made an offer that the city immediately accepted. It required that the city buy that land, excuse me, that required that the city buy that land that is now the Emerald Park and the Botanic Park, and make the southern 6 acres a city park that I could do something with. In return, the city would have a right-of-way for the trail along the river through the mobile home park and avoid having to cross the railroad twice. And if you've ever dealt with railroads, you'll know what an accomplishment that was. Steamboats parks were and are all grassed for games and play. Audrey and I wanted to create a visually pleasing park that was fun just to be in for the citizens of Steamboat Springs. So I spent the winter of 1994-05 with a landscape architect, making and revising plans every day until I settled on the final design. Once we had a plan, I started to think about how we were going to fund the construction.
Just then, a personal disaster for Audrey and I occurred when our 31-year-old athletic son, Peter, died of a heart attack in March 1995. Audrey and I immediately decided that we would use the investments we had given Peter as seed money for the park to get the construction started. So we buried ourselves in this project to take the sting out of our grief. I hired trucks and bulldozers, brought in dirt for the berms, shaped the land. The gravel we excavated to make the ponds was used for the foundation for the circular road. We brought in massive rocks from the Haymaker golf course, which the city was building at the same time. We built fences to keep the animals from eating our flowers. By this time, the park was such an important part of our lives that from here on, we funded the construction work with our own money. The second year, we built an irrigation system and planted 500 trees and shrubs. We also filed on existing water rights to fill the ponds and to have water flowing through the park. That was an 1893 water right, incidentally. The third year, 1997, we had grass on the green and opened the park to the public. The city partnered with the park by taking the payroll, purchasing, accounts payable, and equipment maintenance functions off our hands so we could concentrate on the gardens and fundraising. We have never asked for taxpayer money for the park, and the park's revenues come from memberships, donations, and events. The park pays the city for the payroll and the payables. For the next 10 years, Audrey and I spent a lot of time at the park. I built gardens, the concrete stage, Trillium House, and the rest of the park's facilities. Audrey planned the plantings, selected the plants, and planted them with a team led by park supervisor, who did everything needed to run a small botanic gardens. The team learned a lot about plants that thrive and fail in our cold winters and dry summers. While this was going on, we gained a board of directors, gardeners who wanted to help manage the park, and who by 2007 were collecting the money from the public and had gained the experience to run the park with minimum help from us. We wanted the park to continue after we were gone, so we deliberately left things for the board to deal with themselves so that they could learn and we could retire again. This working board managed the park so well until 1999, when the board decided that the organization had succeeded so well that we needed to do things professionally. We hired Jennifer McNeil, who is here today, as our executive director. And in 4 short years, she and Kathy Cannell, who you'll meet in a moment, our board chair, have changed the park from being a good amateur group to being a professionally managed organization. And it shows in every aspect of the park today. Since this is the Sustainability Council, I have to mention that since we started gardening 27 years ago, we have composted every leaf of our green trash, mainly because our vegetables compost so beneficially to the soils and the plants, but also because it minimizes what we put in the landfill. So that's how tiny Steamboat Springs, Colorado, came to have a botanic park. Thank you for your interest. on behalf of my beloved Audrey and myself, I want to sincerely thank you, the members of the Sustainability Council, for this Lifetime Achievement Award. Kathy Cannell, our board president, would like to introduce the board and supporters. Thank you.
Just like to say, Bob just had his 96th birthday, and he's still actively in charge of us.
Next, it is my great pleasure to announce our third Lifetime Achievement recipient of this year's award, Gretchen Vandekar. It is our great pleasure to present this Lifetime Achievement to Gretchen Vandekar. Our Lifetime Achievement Award honors those local leaders who have made significant contributions to advancing sustainability in our region through their years of professional service and impact. And Gretchen is a most deserving recipient of this award. In recognition of her incredible 31 years of service to the youth, young adults, communities, partners, and ecosystems of Rocky Mountain Youth Corps as founder and chief executive officer of Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. It is very recent, just on January 22nd, 2024, that Gretchen handed leadership over to the incoming executive director, Ryan Banks, who's also here with us today. And she departs the organization as strong, impactful, and inspired. Since establishing Rocky Mountain Youth Corps in 1993, Gretchen has grown the organization from one staff and a partnership program with the city of Steamboat Springs, serving 24 teenagers, to a thriving 15 year-round staffed organization, serving 835 youth ages 10 to 30. Today, Rocky Mountain Youth Corps programs span 4 programs, which include the Conservation Corps, the Yampa Valley Science School, the Natural Resource Internship Program, and the Youth Corps. The Conservation Corps, since 2007, this has served as a cornerstone program of the Rocky Mountain Youth Corps and has served up to 170 young people each year through environmental conservation projects and education. The Youth Corps provides leadership and hands-on workforce experience for youth ages 14 to 18, and I believe actually 11 to 18 potentially, the service learning crew we've worked with. And participants provide service to communities, including beautifying, weeding, trail work, restoration, gardening, and other conservation-based programs in 10 counties in northwestern Colorado each year. Each September, the Yampa Valley Science School serves as many as 300 Routt County 6th grade students in a residential experiential science camp operated at the historic Perry Mansfield Performing Arts Camp in Strawberry Park. And the Natural Resource Internship Program is designed to engage youth and young adults in valuable work experiences within natural resource management agencies like the U.S. Forest Service and BLM and with other nonprofits. As a leader, I'd like to say Gretchen is visionary, approachable, passionate, and collaborative. It is rare to find a leader who so naturally defines success as the number of people and organizations supported and empowered to be more. Rocky Mountain Youth Corps actively works with over 75 programs and project partners each year, which means that Rocky Mountain Youth Corps often operates as the glue that binds youth and our community together. This youth-driven rather than adult-driven approach is unique and something that all of us recognize and see every day when we see the Corps out working. In Gretchen's words, it is the development of a young person that is as important as the environmental projects themselves. I can personally attest to the first time that I saw the Rocky Mountain Youth Corps, it was the service learning crew, so the 11 to 13-year-olds, and we know that they're like bumblebees anyway. I think Tim was there too. But it was post-COVID, and it was the summer program, and they came out to help with the Yampa River Forest Restoration Program. And to see these students, these young kids that had actually not been in school and hadn't been with people, hadn't been with one another, climbing out of a van with their masks on and their energy and the reward of just spending time together, and then seeing them transition into, a hayfield. And then happened to be ponds and puddles. So of course they were plunging into it. But at that moment, I just saw the value and really the moorings that Rocky Mountain Youth Corps stands on, which is really bringing together youth into our environments and through that empowering them to be more. Gretchen has a master's degree in environmental engineering from the University of New Hampshire and a bachelor's of science in civil engineering from Clarkson University. She was a founding member of Routt County Youth Services Coalition, Partners in Routt County, the Community Evaluation Team, and Grand Futures Prevention Coalition. Gretchen currently serves as a board member of the Governor's Marijuana Education Oversight Commission and Routt County Human Resource Coalition and the Yampa River Legacy Project. Gretchen is a 2005 graduate of El Pomar's nonprofit executive leadership program and a 1995 graduate of the Community Resource Center's grassroots leadership program. As the CEO of Rocky Mountain Youth Corps, Gretchen has supervised the management of millions of dollars of federal, state, local, and private funding for Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. And in her spare time, and maybe since her retirement, supposedly a few days ago, Gretchen is spending time outside skiing, doing river trips, camping, playing drums, and traveling with her husband, Pete, and their 2 teenage boys, Otis and Oliver. In Gretchen's words, as I read, she has said that Rocky Mountain Youth Corps is in my blood. Everything I have done has been related to the place, the mission, the Corps members, the students, and the interns of Rocky Mountain Youth Corps. Gretchen's legacy will continue to gain momentum with the change of leadership because she has built a foundation anchored on building resilience. Resilience in people, resilience in community, and resilience in the lands and waters around us. So with this, it is my great pleasure to bestow this 3rd Lifetime Achievement Award to Gretchen Vandekar.
Okay, first of all, why do I have to follow Bob? Just a little bit about the Botanic Park. It means a lot to me because, well, first of all, our crews did build some of the trails there and we help out whenever we can, but most importantly, it's where I got married. So thank you, Bob. Yeah, so the Sustainability Council really has become the hub of the environmental and conservation and preservation for this valley. And I'm really honored to be recognized by you guys. Thank you so much. I accept this award humbly on behalf of all of those who have worked so hard over the past 31 years to build RMYC to the organization it is today. From board members and staff to over 13,000 young people that have come through our, I won't say doors because maybe our tent flaps. It wouldn't be possible. It simply wouldn't be possible without all of them. I want to give a shout out. My husband Pete is here, and obviously if you have to have a strong partner to be able to do these kinds of things. So thank you, Pete. I want to recognize our board president, Frank Mayer, is here. And our leadership team, Chrissy Lynch is our CFO, and Mark Wertheimer, our Chief Operating Officer, and Michelle mentioned Ryan Banks, our new CEO, incoming CEO. I'm actually not done yet. I have 6 days and 3 hours left, at which time I will be happy to hand the Pulaski off to Ryan. And I think, Michelle, you said something about empowering the youth to take charge. Well, I did turn 60 last year. I think that it's time to hand it off to the next generation. And as I leave RMYC officially next Friday, I'm very excited to see how this new generation of leaders will take the organization to new heights. And as Michelle mentioned, I will be spending a lot more time outdoors. It was really great to hear all the cool opportunities that are out there. Maybe I can, instead of pushing the mouse, I can actually be, planting trees and getting back in physical shape. That sounds like a lot more fun. I want to thank the Sustainability Council. We all know that they really deserve so much credit for, just raising the bar of sustainability in this valley, and not just, you know, through recognizing the other folks that are doing it, but really creating a coalition. And it's been really fun to have a very interactive relationship with them over the past however many years you've been around. 15, you said? That's a very admirable. Thank you. So again, thank you very much on behalf of everyone here. I really appreciate it. Thanks.
It's me again. The next award I'm presenting is our Educator of the Year, and we are honored to present this to Colorado Mountain College Professor of Biology, Becky Edmiston. Our Educator of the Year award recognizes those educators in our community who go above and beyond their classrooms to bring sustainability alive for our community students, and this award is presented to Becky in particular for her leadership and commitment to incorporating thoughtful environmental education across CMC programming into the community at large. Becky often seeks out hands-on learning opportunities for her students, noting that this style of learning really seems to resonate with them. Getting students out into the field gives them something tangible to connect the information in their textbooks to, and opens up a world of future career possibilities when working on projects with organizations like YVSC, Friends of the Yampa, and the U.S. Forest Service. Becky was first introduced to YVSC's Yampa Valley Climate Crew in 2022 on the Wet Meadow Restoration Project in California Park. Since then, her students have taken part in a beaver mitigation project on Bear River Park and learned how to conduct site assessments with the U.S. Forest Service and YVSC. For Becky, it's rewarding to be able to do real work to affect a positive change with a group of like-minded people. Becky joined CMC as faculty in the first year of the Sustainability Studies program, and since then she has been instrumental in building CMC's permaculture design program and beekeeping club and classes alongside sustainability professor Tina Evans. These unique programs give students an opportunity to explore hands-on applications of sustainability right on campus. As I mentioned before, CMC's Bear Park Permaculture Center has been in development since 2013, with Becky and Tina obtaining their permaculture design certificates in 2015 from the Central Rocky Mountain Permaculture Institute, so that they could start bringing the permaculture design principles and knowledge back to students of their own. Since then, the site has been developed into the beautiful community space that it is today, being used by students across sustainability, art, biology, engineering, environmental science, culinary, and astronomy programming. As an educator, Becky's efforts extend beyond the classroom as a Routt County Master Gardener and leader of the Routt County Beekeeping Association. She has learned a lot as a Master Gardener and enjoys sharing that with community members who are trying their hand at growing local, sustainable vegetables, or want a pollinator garden, or interested in making more of their landscaping sustainable with water-wise techniques and native plants. The Routt County Beekeeping Association was born out of community members continually showing up to CMC Beekeeping Club meetings. The group shares experiences, knowledge, and helps one another solve problems, supporting the importance of our pollinator populations. Becky enjoys her work with students and younger generations, recognizing their enthusiasm for the climate. She notes that we all have a part to play in caring for our planet, and she hopes to do her part by engaging and empowering the next generation. Please join us in thanking Becky Edmiston for her important role as an educator in our community.
Thank you so much, Yampa Valley Sustainability Council, for this award and for bringing me into such an inspiring room full of people. It's funny as I reflect on this, I see so many faces in this room who helped me, who took students out into the field, gave them those opportunities. I'm so grateful for that. We've had Rocky Mountain Youth Corps up at CMC in Bear Park with the Master Gardeners. We're at the Botanic Park a lot, the Forest Service. So many people in this room have just really poured into the students at CMC, and I'm very grateful for that. I'm very grateful to CMC. They are game for anything, apparently, right? I'm a biology professor, and I said, hey, you know what the students are really into? Bees. Can we have a club? Sure. Can I teach a class? Why not, right? Permaculture design, right? This hands-on applied form of sustainability, they went for it, right? And all of these things have just been so beneficial to our students. So I'm really grateful for this award and for the opportunity to be part of this community.
Last but not least, I'll be presenting the Recycler of the Year Award. The Recycler of the Year Award recognizes individuals and businesses that have a real impact on waste diversion in the Yampa Valley. This year's Recycler of the Year Award goes to Wynn Kalman, owner and founder of Cowgirl Compost CO, for pioneering and advocating for carbon negative community compost services in the Yampa Valley. Throughout her career, Wynn has shown a dedication to helping rural Colorado communities promote circularity and ethical waste diversion through the many roles she's filled at Excel Energy, Twin Enviro Services, the environmental consulting firm Soder, Miller and Associates, and the Yampa Valley Sustainability Council, where she served as both a board member and waste diversion director. During her tenure at YVSC, Wynn managed a range of community services from advancing zero waste services to organizing the Yampa Valley Recycles Depot, an electronics and other hard to recycle materials collection center here in Steamboat. Wynn served as a strong advocate and advisor for composting and recycling from the state level to the local level, and was heavily involved in discussions around commercial recycling ordinance and the data requirement ordinance for local haulers. Wynn also served on the Organics Task Force, a collaborative group of stakeholders addressing local composting issues. Presently, Wynn runs her own sustainability consulting firm, Sandhill Environmental Services, to help communities build more circular economies, and continues to focus her energy on growing Cowgirl Compost CO operations, the Yampa Valley's only local and carbon negative composting option. Since Cowgirl Compost CO was founded in 2021, it has composted 127.8 tons of organic material, which saved 136.1 metric tons of CO2 from entering our atmosphere, the equivalent of removing 29 vehicles from the road a year. The compost is free from biosolids or sewage sludge, so it's safe for use in gardens and landscapes, and all the compost is distributed back into community soils. Cowgirl Compost CO is also a bronze level member of YVSC's Colorado Green Business Network of the Yampa Valley. In addition to striving to make her own businesses as environmentally friendly as possible, Wynn acts as a source of knowledge and inspiration for other business owners to do the same. Rural communities face a host of unique challenges when it comes to taking care of our waste. Wynn's expertise, creativity, and persistence through the years in finding new ways to solve these problems has been an invaluable asset to our community here in the Yampa Valley. YVSC is pleased to name Cowgirl Compost CO our Recycler of the Year. I was wondering where you went. You're over there.
Thank you, Ashley, and thank you, YVSC, and thank all of you. It's been an inspiration to hear everything that has been said about all of the recipients of awards today. So much of what you said resonates with me and why I do the things that I do. I also find that getting out and getting dirty and getting my hands in the waste and creating a nutrient-rich compost, it does a lot for me. It's a gift to me to be able to compost. So thank you. I have a lot of people that I want to thank you.
David Hood he was supposed to be here. He was supposed to be up here with me today. Unfortunately, he's homesick. He helps with composting every single week. I don't know if you've seen him around town, but he drives a little white EV, and he put a cow, if you've seen my logo, it's a cow, an upside down cowgirl hat with a plant growing out of it. So David got a hat and put a plant in it, and he has a little light on his little white EV, and he helps out with collecting food waste from our coffee shops in town. So I'm so sorry that David couldn't be here to help accept this award. I also just want to thank Big Agnes is one of our customers, among many others. I couldn't do this without the businesses that think composting is important. The Botanic Park has also purchased some of our compost, and Kathy Cannell, who helps with Botanic Park, is also a big supporter. So thank you so much. City of Steamboat Springs, they helped when we first got started by sponsoring the drop-off event. This year, you guys have helped with bear enclosures and also the giveaway of the bins for composting. So thank you, City of Steamboat Springs. Obviously, all of our customers who think it's important to compost, and the YVSC, in partnership with the Sierra Club, did a restaurant composting project, which has also been a huge help to getting restaurants on board with doing this. It's a lot of work, and I appreciate all the efforts of everyone involved. So thank you. Congratulations to everyone here today. Thanks for all that you do. It's been great to hear all your stories. So thank you.
Well, I'm sure everyone feels the same feeling of you're swelling with pride and inspiration. This community is so inspiring and such an honor to work alongside and within. So thank you all for everything that you've done to be recipients of these awards. It is such a pleasure to be here. If we could get all of the recipients up here for one photo, then we'll share that out too. But again, a warm thank you for everything that led to this. And thank you for